All right, y'all. This is a special one. All right. Y'all know Marissa, I made the video about Marissa being public enemy #1. Everyone's been talking, good game about Marissa, this, that, and the other. Who else would I get other than my mans? Goes from Third Strike. My man's been playing this character since frame 1. And have gone back and forth, played sets. My man just recently YouTube partnered, by the way. Big up to my man's here, I had to big him up here. But me and him, we talked on Discord, a lot about the character, things that she can do, things she can't do. People been complaining about her and whatnot, and I had to pick my man's brain. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to just get him in here. By the way, I'll put a link down in the description to go check out my man's on his YouTube, you know what I'm saying? We gotta let me just cut to it. What is going on? What exactly is going on with this? What's going on with Matsamami? Talk to me, fella. What is going on?
So I genuinely think Marissa is one of the, in my opinion, I know it's kind of early, but I feel confident in saying that she's one of the best characters in the game. And a couple of reasons why she's one of the best characters in the game is damage. Obviously, I think she has the highest damage output in the whole game.
For sure.
Armor helps her deal with burnout a lot better than others, which is very unique to her and JP, where outside of just having meter, they can battle the mechanics of the entire game, like drive impact, a lot of specific character stuff that they have, some people have to hold in burnout. They don't have to hold because of how their own mechanics work themselves. But her being able to just body through everything regardless of not having drive gauge is really insane. Her screen control, regardless of her having slow walk speed, is very dangerous.
Yes. As a Cammy player, yes.
Yeah. Mainly because Sparta kick and Superman punch, even though these moves are slow, it's Superman punch specifically is very interesting as a move, seeing how it has armor at specific frames. You can change the range of it depending on the strength of it, light, medium, or heavy.
Right.
It's plus on block, so you can't press after. Her screen control is really strong if used correctly.
I agree.
You really can't run for her, especially in burnout. You really can't run from her. She's dangerous everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes. She has really messed up and almost guaranteed Oki situations, because what's funny about Street Fighter 6 and the way they changed it up from previous Street Fighters is nothing is guaranteed. You have a high percentage of things being guaranteed, but for the most part, a lot of stuff in this game aren't guaranteed. And Marissa kind of bends that rule. She kind of bends or breaks that rule, where she can use Gladius, which is her armored straight punch, as a Oki tool. And in some situations, she can essentially beat out a lot of things that you would want to do on Wake Up outside of perfect parry and super.
Right.
Which is kind of messed up. And you could say, okay, I can sit and just block it. She's +4 afterwards, so you have to hold that consistently, and leading into the fact of thinking, okay, I'll just block everything this character throws at me. She does a lot of drive gauge.
So let's actually talk about that. Hold on. Okay, so I'm gonna tell it to you guys right now, right? There's another style of character in this game, and it's called Drive Crush. I'm a big fan of Guard Crush, but this character is Drive Crush. Most of her moves just eat your drive gauge pretty handily. And I think, simply put, and I mean, we've talked about it too, that's another really good objective for the characters, to focus on drive crushing, because mad people will sit here and say, oh, she has no footsies, she's got no that. Footsies are rough, for sure. But as I mentioned, her screen control and her ability to fight is still good. But any of those moves that were mentioned that are blocked, Sparta kick, freaking Superman punch, Gladius, she's snatching so much of your drive gauge. So let's talk about that. Like, why, you know, why is she out there snatching drive gauge like this? Like, what's going on? Help me and help the people out here understand. Like, what's like? Do you guys want to understand what's going on? Because I know I do. Talk to me, fella. What's going on?
So essentially, how I see her having these tools, because some people would look at it like the amount of damage she does and the amount of drive gauge damage she does. A lot of people would look at it like, why does she have this? Like, why can't she just burn me out like this? Like, what's going on? Why is she plus? Why can't she break through this? It's mainly because two of her flaws are like really, I would argue, really bad flaws. It doesn't, and what's funny is, despite of the two flaws, she manages to be like one of the better characters in the game if played correctly.
You hear that? You hear that, you guys? If played correctly. Carry on.
Basically, it's like she, the two flaws that I see a lot of high level players exploit is her not being able to stop cross ups, and
that's huge. Essentially,
her slow walk speed. And from what I'm seeing, like just looking at the roster right now, she has a hard time dealing with characters like Cammy, Jury, Kimberly, because those characters' walk speed is so good that they can easily just walk out of some of the things she likes to do in neutral. And I see a lot of people get cooked by Gladius in neutral when those characters, like a decent amount of the roster, can literally just walk out of range really fast. Just like, oh, you want to do Gladius? All right, no problem, I'll back up, wait for you to finish animation, punish counter, and their party gets started. So
right,
her slow walk speed holds her back. Her anti-air game is really split. It's really good, but it's also really bad.
Yes,
it's really good in the sense of like, I think it's safe to say that she's the only character in the game that gets 50-ish% or more off of an anti-air.
So I want to tell you guys, I've personally gotten hit by this before. I don't enjoy getting hit by this. You probably won't either. But it's something that we've also discussed as well, where like, it's not that, like you said, her entire game is good. It's a little spotty. And it's mostly because she does have some dead zones for cross-ups in particular, especially like shorter cross-ups, like say Cammy jump light kick, Shoto's jump light kick. I mean, I'm sure Ken's kind of hard to anti-air too. Jump medium kicks probably kind of tough too. But like, where it does shine, again, stuff we discussed, when Marissa's in the corner, on the other hand, that anti-air never misses. That anti-air don't miss. She don't miss.
It hits at like, it's hitting heaven. It's touching God's toes. I'm gonna be honest. It's she up there just scratching God's foot. Like, yo, what's going on? Yeah, like, who that? You know, who creeping in my window?
Right.
So it can get really scary with her when she has you cornered, because it can feel like there's really no way out. You really might, the only chance you really have with getting out the corner versus her is you have to hope she's like in your face, because at that point you're open to crossing her up.
Right.
If she's not, then yeah, you might just have to, I don't know,
hold that.
Pray.
Hold that.
You know what I'm saying? You gonna have to hold that. I don't know. Consult with the elder gods or something. It's not going. Maybe they know the answer. It's not going. I don't got it.
So,
you know,
on being on the receiving end, I can definitely say like one of the hardest parts of fighting Marissa is being in the corner. Even as Cammy, even as agile as Cammy is, even with the dive kick, like if she punish counters a dive kick and you're just at the right height, you're gonna take like 4 or 5K pretty free. And that's the damage you take before the level 3 is like, and if she's in critical, it's like you might as well just put the controller down. Like you just lost that round. Like Marissa can end the game literally off anti-air. Like, I know what you guys are thinking, what, you have full HP? I get it, but if she hits you at the start of the round, her corner carry is actually really good, and if she's sitting on 3 meters, all she needs is like what, a 4 stock, and you're still pulling like 6 point something. And that's like, and that's like even without critical. So it's like, come on, man, I just want to leave the ground. She said, nah, big dog, that's cool. You know,
it was funny is, so I was gonna hold this off. I told myself I would not tell anybody outside of the circle, me.
Whoa, hold on now. If you want to save the tech,
I'm fine with putting it out there. They would have to find it. I'm just telling what she can do.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
They would have to figure it out. Essentially, I think she's the only character that 2-touches in the game. She has a true 2-touch where she can do the regular degular combo, get maybe 30 to 40-ish%. But she has a situation where if you trade off her, she can essentially get 80% damage. And I'm not gonna tell y'all how, because I know the Capcoms is watching. Capcom is watching right now.
I am a Capcom creator, by the way, so yeah, no.
So, you know what I'm saying? Look, Capcom, I'm not gonna say that. Y'all gonna have to figure that out. But just know, you know.
Oh man, so he don't want his character nerfed. I don't blame him.
Look, let her walk speed is slow. Let her cook. Let her cook. You know, 80% aside, but
look at that. I mean, you know, as I casually sip my drink, as I casually sip.
It's only one round. It's only one round.
But that's the end of the game. But that's the end of the game.
Look, listen.
All right, see that, and there it is. You see the silence, y'all? There it is. Okay, so you guys know now that there is a traded situation that can lead to 80%. So like, lab it out. So
lab it out.
So let's. I mean, we're already starting off pretty strong here, but like, what do you think about like the complaints about the character? Do you think that it's warranted? Do you think that like people should just lab it out? I mean, you got players like was it EMEMA, was it Big Bird's doing work? You got Japan Shuto doing work. And it's looking like, you know, she's doing work across the board. But do you think that based on what they're doing and yourself, do you think that she's warranted some nerfs? Question mark?
Honestly, it's interesting because I think the character is, even though I think the character is like one of the best characters in the game, I still think she is prone to losing to very patient players. I think the main reason why she's shining right now is mainly because a lot of people are kind of playing with their face. Even month, like we're 3 weeks in, people are still playing with their face. And is the complaints warranted? Yes and no. I say yes.
Here it is, y'all. I've been waiting for this the whole time. Carry on.
I say yes mainly because the moment is almost like you can't take a risk versus her, because I feel like a 50-50 scenario versus Marissa is a 70-30 truly on paper, because it's like if you're right, it's okay. So let me break it down, because this is funny. I kind of came to the conclusion that Marissa is one of the few characters that don't care about what you do on Oki, mainly because if you have to spend resources to get her off you, it's a W in her favor, because her whole point is to take resources from you.
Right, that's true.
So say Marissa versus Jamie. Jamie decides to do EXDP on Wake Up, and he gets her off of him. Okay, no problem. If she manages to get momentum back and get you back into that advantageous situation that, you know, leaves her at advantage, then you're just doing the job for her, where she wants to take your resources. You're already 2 resources down.
Right. So
at that point, genuinely, she really doesn't care about what you do on Oki outside of supers. And even then, because I feel like Marissa is playing, I think Marissa players should play for the long game. Like, whatever happens round 1, it matters, but it doesn't matter, because round 2 is when you break your opponent.
Right.
Like, yeah, because round 2 is party time.
Because I mean, you have access to level 2 roughly at that point in time. You're close to level 3, so you can, if you didn't win that round, I guess it's kind of like a double-edged sword, right? Like, if you win that round, right, you're already close to level 3. You're in a two-touch scenario at that stage, right? So give or take, like, minus your situation we're talking about here, right? Like, cause that's a very unique one, right? But specifically, like, playing the game, a general good hit could lead to 6.5k plus, somewhere in that ballpark. So it's really hard to try to, like, wager a situation with a really good Marissa player, because it's like they know what you want to do, and they're fine with letting you do what you want to do, because second round is when party time starts to happen. I look at her now, she's really similar to Third Strike Makoto, where I let you cook round 1, but round 2, if you get touched by me once, I'm going to make it bad for you. It's not going to look good for you. Right. So I don't know. I get the complaints, but you also have to look. You have to look at her flaws and how her flaws can be exploited, and her flaws being exploited by just being patient and playing mid to long range. Not a lot of people are doing. Even Gal players sometimes are just like bazooka kneeing, rushing people down. You should not be playing into the Marissa. If you have a fireball, ain't no reason to play into Marissa. Ain't no reason.
Like, it's not worth it, because it's really not, because I just don't think you should play into her and then on top of potentially spending meter to play into her, because that's exactly what she wants, and I don't think people fully understand that yet. And it's a given. We're within 1 month, so it's a given that people won't catch on to that kind of stuff. But I think if they do decide to nerf Marissa, a damage nerf is fine. I think it's fine.
I think so.
Given how her kit is, I think it's genuinely fine that they decide to nerf her damage. Anything else, do not touch.
I mean, I've been saying this, you know, like, a lot of people keep crying about her damage, and, like, okay, I'll talk about that first from my perspective. Even as, like, a Cammy player, like, I have no choice but to play into you, because that's the range I'm good at too, right? But I can play the in and out game better than she can, right? Cammy can do it better. But I think the thing is, Marissa does take a lot of risk, which is why you have to play. That's why players like Shuto and freaking Big Bird, they play more compact, because they understand the implication of their risk reward, and they know when to risk reward you out. I mean, and in some ways you can see us getting random. So for some people, probably like, don't sugarcoat it, Kensou. I know you're saying get random, but it's not really randoming out. But, like, you have to understand that Marissa also has, like, what, second highest HP to Geef?
I believe so. Yeah.
Second highest HP to Geef. So, like, she can play off her HP. For those that don't understand the concept of play off the HP, you take chances to gain information. She has a lot of HP, so she can be okay. It didn't, like, you can't outright kill Marissa, is the point I'm trying to make. So she can take a risk to get information against you as the Marissa player and then use it against you later. Which is why Ghost is saying, like, in second and third-ish rounds, give or take, barring how the match went, obviously, that can determine a lot of different factors moving forward. So, yeah, like, I don't know. Even with the damage, I'm mostly okay with it because they make characters like Cammy, who normally are like low HP characters, you know. She has 10k average HP in the game. For those that don't know, 10,000 HP is standard across the board for all the characters. Well, for the standardized characters, and then it goes up from 10k on up. And I think it's like Marissa, Honda, and a few other characters are on the higher end. And they can take those risks because they don't die as fast. So it's, I don't know. To me, I feel like her damage is warranted. The only damage I'd probably pull, if I had to pull anything, personal opinion, I would just reduce the AA damage. The anti-air damage is probably a little bit more than these two. Personal opinion. Other than that, I don't really like, me personally, I have no problems with Marissa's overall damage output. But I'll get to the other part, which you're gonna get to. Right? He says no nerfs. I say no nerfs either. I don't really have a problem with it. I think the most important part right now is that in week 3, you know, and I want to put this out here for you guys watching. This is probably the reason why I brought Ghost on to do this, so we can talk about it together with you guys, so you can kind of understand like some of the discussions that we have. Like, you know, we talk a good bit about the game, to be honest with you guys, and this is just a normal conversation we tend to have. But we figured, you know, I figured I'd get over here, get Ghost, and kind of help out people to kind of understand how to fight Marissa. I know I put my video out about her recently, but I figured who better to get than a player that plays the character, right? Help you guys kind of understand like what you should be doing, things you should probably be looking for, and things of that nature. So you're gonna get more of that here, obviously, with this conversation. But I just want you guys to understand that like it's not as bad as you think it is. Like, she has weaknesses, and you just gotta learn how to exploit those. So this is why I say no nerfs, because outside of the anti-air damage, and even then, DJ's new anti-air combos. I'll put that up on the screen for you guys post edit, but I just saw it earlier today. Silent sent it to me. I'm like, listen, I mean, he needs it. It's DJ, right?
he been garbage for a minute. You know,
you right.
Let him have some fun for a month. Let him cook.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
But yeah, man. Like, I don't know. So I guess coming back to it, you know, swinging back, put everything back in perspective here. So obviously, you're saying maybe a damage nerf. Is there anything else you think, perhaps, if anything at all?
I don't think so, because a lot of her kit has counterplay. Nothing that she does is guaranteed. A lot of her stuff is really her taking risk. It's just safer risk because of the armor. I genuinely don't think she needs a nerf. And the thing, because here's the thing, Marissa, and the way I look at Marissa in terms of balance is she's one of those characters that you come across in games that if you buff them, just a slight buff could make them top 1, and a slight nerf could make them really bad. She falls into that line with like Grappler from DNF.
Oh man.
Correct me if I'm wrong, kinda like Sin and Chip and Strive, where like if you give them one good buff, it's possible that they could be the best or one of the best characters in the game.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I feel like Marissa isn't like a character that you heavily nerf or heavily buff, or even slightly nerf or slightly buff patch 1. I feel like this is a character you need to let sit a patch or two to really let people figure out her and the game, and essentially let the meta unfold and see how she reacts to not only the base 18 characters and whatever they get after patch 1, but the characters that are gonna get added. Like, how is she gonna fight Rashid? How she's gonna fight Aki, Ed, and Akuma? Because I don't think when people ask for nerfs for characters, they aren't thinking about the implications those nerfs could have on the character when the DLC comes out.
That's true.
Because whatever nerfs y'all are asking for these characters, on top of whatever Rashid is doing, could drastically mess up the whole, could mess up everything.
That can mess the whole
so
balance.
I think for the big buffs and the big nerfs, I know y'all want Jamie to be big drunk out here on his bachelor party stuff every round, carrying over. We need to slow off on that for the moment, because we need to let it unfold to really figure out, okay, is this what we really want? So right. I think I'm not against Marissa getting buffs or nerfs. I just don't know if it's the right time to make those kind of decisions. I think we need to let her sit a little longer, because there are some people that just don't think she's that good. That's some people that think she's overrated, and her weakness, people found early that her weaknesses can be heavily exploited. It's just not a lot of people are exploiting them. And then you have the people that are like, nah, get, armor, get this out of here. I'm not trying to deal with this.
I feel like that's the biggest thing. It's just like, oh, armor. Have you played neutral against the character? You know how much he struggles there? Now, granted, I admit I'm spoiled. I have the walk speed. I got the dive kick. I got the buttons. I got spin knuckle. Like, man, I got one of the best level 3s in the game. I know what I have. But I guess the real thing is, like I said, like as you guys can see here watching, right? The biggest thing we're trying to give you guys is you have answers. Marissa is really good. And you'd be surprised. I know probably some people in the comments be like, Marissa players aren't working. No, they are working. Can you talk to them about Marissa versus Dulcie? Would you like to talk about that matchup?
So
let's talk matchups, you guys, so you guys can understand what's going on with this character.
Okay. I'm gonna start off with what I feel like is her bad matchups.
Okay.
I think Sim I think is a semi bad matchup for her. And I think it's very obvious she can't get in on him unless she takes a risk.
Yeah.
And if he calls out that risk, it's party time for him. It's really just like, if he really calls out her trying to take a risk, that could be the end of the game for her. Because at that point, you're probably down on drive gauge, trying to get in or trying to call something out. And eventually you're going to get burnt out from the yoga fire and him throwing things out. It's not the greatest situation.
Now alternatively, right? If she gets in.
Oh yeah, that's his, the way I would say it, I don't know if you might be able, push come to shove, ass is grass when I get in, you know what I'm saying? It's over. It's party time. I'm throwing him around like a towel. It's not looking good, bro. But
right.
But the whole thing is about, now granted, it depends on the sim player. Because if the sim player wants to rush down, oh yeah, that's what I like. You giving me what I want.
Sim players do not play. Do you hear this, man? Don't play into that.
Don't play into her.
There's no reason. No reason. Same with you God players, but carry on.
Yeah, it's like, you really don't want to play into her. I think this is the one matchup where Sim just plays lame and he wins genuinely. So I think that's one of the matchups I think is rough for her. Jury I think is rough, not super rough, but it's not fun. Jury's buttons keep Marissa at bay. Fuha stocks the Fuha fireball. As much as some Jury players like to think Fuha is garbage or just not that good, that little thing, that little speck of air on the floor literally determines my life. Like, I literally cannot, like, it's like a, it's like a restraining order. Like, if you look, like, if you see the person across the room, but you cannot come in that vicinity, and it's just there, and it's like, okay, like, I promise you, if you properly utilize her buttons and you react to certain things and you use Fuha Fireball, man, that matchup becomes very, very annoying. Like, I genuinely don't like fighting Jury as Marissa. Trying to think. Chun can be really annoying. I think it's slightly in Chun-Li's favor, but Marissa can fight it because Chun-Li, just like Marissa, wants to get in on you. I originally thought Honda would be a bad matchup for her, but now I'm starting to think it's either in Marissa's favor or it's even.
Okay.
I think they both can rob each other, and Honda has hands, so he doesn't have to deal with armor BS a lot of the times. But if I know a lot of y'all Hondas out there like to do, the
deuce coys.
Don't do that.
Armor up.
Don't do that.
Armor up.
That or we, no, sir. Outside of that, I know some people are probably like, oh, why he didn't say JP? Why you didn't say JP? I'm gonna be honest.
I was just finna press you. I'm not gonna hold you. I was like, I'm finna press you on JP. What's going on?
It's a hot take.
I love it.
I think she beats JP.
There it is.
It's a hot take, but I think she beats JP. Cause JP 1000% can keep her out. I'm gonna be honest, I think Sim keeps her out a lot better than JP does.
Oh yeah, it's okay. Let's talk meta, y'all. Let's talk meta. We here. I know why he's saying that. It's because Sim is more active. Like, Sim can fly around the screen. He's got yoga float. He has more projectiles he can put on the screen. The EX rainbow yoga ball that bounces, like, that joint is crazy. And then it doesn't. What I learned, I think I was fighting 2D Chuck. I didn't know that when it hits the ground, it has a flame carpet. I was like, well, ain't no way they gave Dulcim all this. That's tight, but man, I got messed up. Now, when you fight JP, yes, and I know what everyone's gonna say, but when he gets full screen, he does Ghost in the Pillar. And you know what you do to that? You parry both of them joints. You walk forward. If he puts up Rift for whatever reason, you drive rush your way in the best you can. And the thing about Marissa is she can drive rush into Superman punch, and then that doesn't care about the pillar that comes from Rift. So she's gonna armor through it. And either he has answers, but like, I'm not gonna hold you. If I'm gonna keep it a stack for the people watching at home, and I know you've watched a good bit of this too. Shuto versus Nemo. Like, when Shuto just gets in on Nemo, that would just be mauled, and he'd be like, damn, I can't get out. Like, so to put it out there for you guys, Nemo, one of the strongest JPs right now in Japan. Shuto, easily the strongest at the moment. Marissa in Japan. And, Shuto does play other characters too, but his main is Marissa. And like, I would say all the way up until now, and you can go look up these matches. It's not like I'm lying about it. You can go look at it on CFN. You can go check out some of the YouTube channels that have match videos. But you'll see a lot of Shuto playing against JP players. Japanese players. Actual JP players. And he's like tearing them a new one, including Nemo. And again, it's not that Nemo's a bad player or nothing like that. It's just Shuto just knows how to take risks, and he knows how to play around the zoning. And once he plays around the zoning and she gets in, it's pretty much lights out. Because she doesn't have to play into the counter. She can just wait. Because she can... The funniest thing I've seen, Shuto corners, and I don't have footage of this, you guys. I remember watching a match, so I'm sorry I can't like show it to you. Even in post, it's gonna take too long to find that. But it was a match I saw. He put him in the corner, and he knew, Shuto knew Nemo was gonna press a button. He does armor, he presses the button, you know what time it is, he does push. And then Nemo's like, I'm gonna counter. Shuto just sat in stance and said, yeah, that's cool. And that punish counter damage was so much, I was like, oh man, poor Nemo.
You know what I'm saying? Where are you going?
Yeah, and the other thing too, also just to kind of throw it out here, part of the reason why some would agree with about Ghost take about the matchup. When Marissa corners JP I think that's game. I think that's game for that round. Or like, if it's not game, you're gonna have a hard time getting out. JP has a hard time getting out. I mean, sure, you could be like, oh, if you just set up Rift and you can escape, yeah, all right. She'll let you do that for free. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. But I stole your thunder. You tell me. I'm just saying from what I saw, because I watched the matches too. But I mean, you play the character and you're the one, you're in the fray. You out here in these streets, you know what I'm saying? So you tell me and the folks watching, the good folks here on YouTube, you know, y'all are great. You know, don't forget to follow the channel. Don't forget to follow Ghost too, by the way. You know, just subtle advertisement here. But yes, talk to the people. Come on, fella. You were the player here. What's going on?
You basically were spot on mostly everything. Like she doesn't have to work as hard to get in on him compared to Sim. Mostly because everything is projectile, and Superman Punch, a lot of people don't know, Superman Punch has invincibility to projectile at a specific frames, or a specific set of frames. And all she really needs to do is just get in mid-range, and if he takes a risk of throwing Ghost or Rift or what is it?
Oh, Pillar?
The spikes.
Spikes?
Yeah. Even if he takes a chance on it, the Superman Punch has armor. So 9 times out of 10, the spikes are gonna catch her in armor, and she gets punish counter, hard knockdown. Now she's in. And with counter, she can afford to not attack you. She can afford to not attack you just to get charge heavy punch punish counter, because not only that does a lot of drive gauge damage, you're probably gonna eat 50% plus off of whatever she's gonna do next. So it's like, you can take the risk to call her out on some things. I don't think it's worth, like, it's just not worth it. And from what I saw, Big Bird found some tech versus his counter, where if you press and you activate the counter, she can essentially throw EX Gladius into, it was something else, and then go straight into level 2. And it just bodies whatever he wants to do. So there is JP tech for Marissa to deal with whatever he wants to do. And it's like, I feel like Guile has a better chance of fighting his way out versus JP. Like, in that matchup situation, like, Guile can easily either button his way out or flash kick his way out, or I feel like his tool set, as simple as it is, the family man that's just been rocking the same thing since SF2 has a better chance of getting out versus a man that can set portal and then teleport through the portal. It's just is not a good looking situation for JP, I think, for that matchup. Like, nah, I think she cooks that character free.
Damn. You heard it here first. You heard it here first from my man. And that's respectable. Hey, don't get twisted, you guys, in the comments. This is his opinion. This is from his experience, the things that he's watched. You know, and again, like I told you guys before, me and him have both watched Shuto together and watched some of the matchups that he's played. So I don't really disagree. I think she does really well. I'll let him say bodied. I think she does well. But anyone else that she loses to? Anyone else you think that she might be losing to in the roster? Or a difficult time?
I think she might have a hard time versus DJ. Not as hard as something like Sim. I think DJ can call out a lot of things that she wants to do and vice versa. Like a lot of the sway options that DJ has, she can call out with Scootum. I think it's slightly in his favor. I don't think he wins it free because he still has to fight her. He still has to fight her up close. But DJ has the buttons to he has the buttons and the specials to really he can stop her from he doesn't outright he doesn't outright win it, but he definitely gives her a hard time if not played right.
Shotos?
I'm gonna be honest, I think the only Shoto out of Luke, Ryu, and Ken that gives her a super hard time that I'm calling this now, because I haven't seen anybody really playing him like that to really show how crazy he is in this game. I think out of all of them, I think Ryu gives her the hardest time.
The headband?
I think the OG really would give her a hard time compared to anybody else, mainly because of Denjin. And I say Denjin because a lot of her, the thing is, she wants to get in on Ryu, no problem. Ryu alone is very hard to get in on a really good Ryu. And I think a really good Ryu won't even allow her to do something like Superman Punch and things like that in neutral. I think with Ryu, you have to play it like everybody else. You have to play it safe. But she can't just do things like Gladius and Superman Punch in neutral because of Denjin. I think if he didn't have Denjin charge, it would be a lot harder for him to fight that. But I think he fights that a lot better than everybody else. I can see some people well, Ken has this, that, and the third. Dragon Lash is easily beat by anything she does.
Yeah, I agree more or less, because you can armor Dragon Lash and be like, all right, whatever. Well,
yeah. A lot of his stuff can be easily beaten by Scootum or just Gladius. Either one, you can just armor through, and you can do it on reaction. Because I've done it to a couple players when I had the chance to play that matchup. It's not entirely free by any means. I think all the Shotos can fight her. I think Luke.
I feel like Luke might actually cook. It's a sandblast. It's just sand. Ain't no fireball like it in the game.
It's funny because it's since Sandblast is so fast, I think Sandblast, I'm gonna be honest, I think Sandblast kind of hurts him in certain ways.
Okay.
And one way I see Sandblast hurting him is, and I've seen it happen in firsthand. Sandblast is so fast that it passes through Marissa. It's less of a chance of her getting caught by it versus a slow Hadouken.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
If you get what I'm saying. A slow Hadouken has a better chance of Ken and Ryu has a better chance with slow Hadouken than Sandblast. And as Sandblast goes past her, he's stuck in this animation. And he just gets duffed. So I think Luke has to play it slightly safer than the OGs. But overall, I think the Shotos fight her a lot better than some other characters in the game.
Of course.
I think those three can 1000% fight her. But they have to don't be fireball happy. Cause Lord Jesus, too many people where I just see just
going ham,
and they just just get slapped up and dapped up, and this.
I'm thinking about it now, and I see why you say Denjin, because the fireball recovery is so good. So if you do decide a Superman punch or something like that, the replayer can recover and react and do something to punish. Most likely DP, I would assume.
And on that ulti, you get Denjin, and then you have to worry about Denjin because you can't just, outside of Scudum, you can't just armor through Denjin. Because it's the hits not only hit too fast behind each other. It's funny because I really want to learn how this matchup would like fully unfold at the highest level of play, because I think Ryu is extremely good, but no one's using him because he's a beta character. It's a given. Nobody wants to play Ryu right now, and it'd be like that. I think in due time somebody's gonna play Ryu. And fellas, I'm hoping Ending Walker, because he actually mentioned he wanted to play Ryu. I'm hoping he comes up and actually shows how good this character is. But yeah, I think the Shotos fight her fairly well. They just got to be careful with the fireballs. Outside of that, I feel like they do mostly fine. So
I mean, I won't lie. I mean, I know the folks at home wondering. I think about the matchup as a Cammy player. I mean, I think she beats her ass personally, but no. I think Cammy does well. It's roughly even. It's roughly even. I'd say it's pretty much even. It's not that Cammy. It's not that Cammy doesn't just outright win. What she can do is steamroll, but so can Marissa. That's the thing. Because you have to fight her at that range, it can be tough. Certain spacings are tricky to contest as Cammy because armor. So like as a Cammy player, you gotta be a bit smart about dealing with the armor. Yes, I know you can go low, but moves like Gladius, they reel her hurt box back. So you're playing into Gladius, which can get you popped. So at that point, you see Gladius, it's just nah. Let her have it. Either you let her have it, or you can't walk in and parry. Like, which speaking of which, let me talk about that for a second. Bump that matchup. Do you think people need to be using the system mechanics against Marissa?
Yes and no.
Okay, we already know drive impacts off the table.
Yeah, take that off.
We'll just push that away, you guys.
You know what I'm saying?
That's just gone. Let's talk about parry, fella.
Parry, I definitely think you should be using that. Perfect parry, if you can, works wonders versus this character. I feel like she's gonna die heavily to perfect parry alone. Like players that are really good at perfect parrying, I think they'll find this matchup fairly easy. A lot of her animations have rhythm to it. And what I mean by that is you can easily, like, they're really telegraphed. You can tell when certain things is coming, and you can prepare for it. Like your mental can like that can really like prepare. Okay, she's gonna do this, especially if you decide to just commit and fully charge something. It's like, okay, she's gonna charge this, perfect parry, and then we go in, it's party time.
Right.
But I think parry is really good versus her. I'm split between good and bad for drive reversal.
I say bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth you spending 2 bars to knock her away slightly for her to get back in and to take your rest of your bar away, and now you're burnt out. I do not advise drive reversaling her. It's not worth it. The only way I could see it being worth it is if you're in life lead and you're about to win the game. If you're not about to win the match, I do not advise you to drive reversal this character at all. It's no sir.
And we're saying this mostly because a lot of Marissa stuff you can kind of just block out. The only thing that's really like, I will say her offense can be tricky. Like if she does do like, you know, what was it called? String into drive, rush, cancel, stance, command grab. Like that joint is mad fast. That joint is math. so you know, you do have to be careful in certain areas when fighting her. So I'll put this back on the table. I'll bring back drive impact just for a minute for you guys. When we say don't use drive impact, like you can't use it against the armor. You're just gonna break it. So it's like it's not useful there. But like Sparta kick is more of a useful move to use it against, and Superman punch too. But you have to be careful with that, specifically late drive impact, because if you do the reactionary DI too late, you could be caught in a situation where it could be a DI trap, especially Superman punch. That move isn't cool if you get DI trapped on, because it's like, oh, it looks like I'll just DI right back and just blow you up. And that's never fun, you guys. It's never fun. It's never fun. But specifically, I would say even if you're not comfortable perfect parrying, I think you should still at least hold parry at the very least. Just to, because the thing is, what you want to do in this matchup, and like I told you guys, me and Ghost plays matchup more enough, you have to keep your drive gauge on point when fighting against her. If you play a more inside character like Cammy, Kim, you know, Jamie, you're gonna need to utilize your parries because you don't want to take all the drive damage. Like the drive damage, like you gotta think of it this way: if you get drive crushed and you're in burnout, that's the next topic of discussion. We talk about all this stuff right here, but let's talk about Marissa when she has you in burnout. That character's chip damage is absurd in burnout. Let's just start there. Her chip damage in burnout is pretty absurd, you guys. Like, see, overall damage nerf, let's talk about that. Like, she's plus up the wazoo. Like, you got it. I don't even want him. You got it.
Listen, look. Burnout Marissa, I think
Top 5 character when she has you in burnout.
Oh yeah, for sure, because you can't run. Because all right, I'm gonna walk away, I'm gonna backdash. Heavy Sparta kick is damn near full screen. Yeah. And it does a ton of what's funny is special moves are the only thing that does chip. And the other thing a lot of people might not know, doing a lot of normals rather than specials and strings when people are in burnout actually boosts their burnout timer. So if you're doing a lot of normals, it actually puts them in, it brings their meter back a lot faster than it does just doing specials. So honestly, your best bet against Marissa if you're burnt out, neutral jump. That's another thing that options that is really good versus her is jumping. If you see her doing something on reaction, I know a lot of people, their first instinct when they see people committing to a special, oh, I'm drive impacting this. Yeah. And versus her, I think you should kind of like erase that mentality ever like slightly and start committing to just neutral jumping versus her. And because a lot of her stuff, if she decides to do it, you could easily neutral jump in on reaction and just body her for doing it. But the Marissa can also change the timing of those things to mess you up from neutral jumping. And at that point, we're just playing fighting games.
Yep. As you guys, so I want y'all to know this. This is something that ends up happening a lot. Whenever we always have this discussion and we get heated, and it ends up being like, but you could do this, but you could do that. I guess that's fighting games. Because that goes back to what Ghost said in the initial start of this, talk, is like nothing's guaranteed. Like that situation is good. It can be advantageous on either side. It just depends on what's going on. And at that point, it's just fighting games, bro. Really it. Not much you can do there. But
that's really what it is.
We've talked a lot about Marissa, so gotta do it. Gotta ask my G. Who is the most underrated character to you? Most underrated character in Street Fighter 6 right now. Your opinion. I feel like I know who it is, but I'm gonna let you say it. I feel like I know who it is, but I'm gonna let you say it.
it is the golden girl herself. You thought I was gonna go with somebody else?
I'm here for it. Surprise me. Surprise me, player.
I'm going with the golden girl, the Disney child, little Lilo. You know what I'm saying? AKA, you know, the cutest Street Fighter character in the world, the most adorable. Lily. I think Lily is the most underrated character in this game. There's a couple underrated characters, but from what I'm seeing,
run it
from everybody, I think she is the most underrated. Because
top three most underrated after that. Two more after that. Well, go ahead.
Jamie,
of course,
and right after that, I would probably say it's probably Sim.
Okay.
And it's in certain regions. I already know EU thinks Sim is like top 5.
Of course. They have freaking Crimson out there, so yeah.
You feel me? But I think everywhere people aren't seeing the full power of like what Sim can really do. But Lily.
Yeah, let's get back to Disney Channel. In case you guys don't know, I have this running gag with me, him and the other boys. I basically call this character the Disney Channel. I'm like, this old Disney Channel ass character. Don't get me wrong, I think Lily's cool, but every time I see her, she's like, win, dance, welcome back to Disney Channel. Like, get out of here, man. But yes, carry on. Let's talk about Disney Channel.
I think, like, I see why people think she might be not that good, but I think as she is, I think she's like, I think she can easily rob people. I don't think people are properly using her. I would say probably the best Lily I've seen is El Chacote.
El Chacote?
Shout out to that, El Chacote. Shout out to that fella. He really pushing that character to lengths. But I think outside of him, I can see why people would consider her either bad or just not as good as the rest of the cast. I think people aren't using her properly. Like, I'm gonna put it out there and people are gonna look at me like, yo, you're crazy. She's low key. She low key has the potential to be this game's May.
Okay. And
people aren't realizing it until she gets buffed. And then people are gonna ask, please revert this. Cause I think she has one of the best, like, out of the stock characters in the game, which is Juri, Manon, Jamie, and her. I think she has some of the best stock situations in the game, mainly because her getting stocks is a mix.
By the way, I'm gonna toss one more into the mix.
Okay.
Ryu. But I mean, whatever.
Oh yeah, Ryu.
Ryu
as well.
But it's kind of like whatever. It's just freaking Denjin.
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys watching at home for you Ryu players. Yeah, it's just Denjin. Carry on.
But yeah, it's like her stock system essentially is a mix. You have to decide whether should I attack her or should I not attack her, and if you decide not to, then she just casually gets 3 chances to mix you up in the 50-50 situation.
Disney Channel hitting you with Condor's Fire into 50-50 guess. But carry on. In case you guys know what we're talking about. Basically, win dance, Condor's Fire. And then it's like, well, I'm not gonna press a button, I'm gonna command grab you. Which one is it gonna be? And then she does fierce command grab, buku damage. And she just, welcome back to Disney Channel, and does it again.
So it's really like you really don't want this character to get stocks, and if you decide that you want to attack her, she has an attack coming out of stock build that she could pretty much make safe at longer ranges. Her normals are disjointed, so it's extremely difficult to whiff punish her. if at all, possible to whiff punish her. I can't.
He's a
Marissa
Marissa player.
cannot whiff punish.
He's a Marissa player, so he ain't whiff punishing nothing.
I can't touch her.
I'm playing Cammy and I still can't. I'm still having a hard time even as Cammy to whiff punish her. Much as getting, I've had a very difficult time getting Marissa players, not Marissa, I'm sorry, Lily players even just swing. It's like when they do swing, I'm like, oh, okay, I can DI here. And then they're like, oh, by the way, this move is actually DI cancelable. And I'm like, oh, okay. You got it, King. My bad.
And that goes into the next point. A lot of her normals are easily like, so there's certain things in this game where I don't know, a lot of people know where I've seen some people that go, hey, I pressed DI here. I canceled into DI. Why didn't my DI cancel? Certain moves have specific cancel windows, and heavier normals cancel windows kind of suck in terms of trying to react to DI. And we kind of realized early on that using lights to react to DI is a lot better than using heavier buttons.
Yeah.
And Lily, she doesn't care about that. That's a different case. Lily has buttons. Lily, for some reason, Lily just has buttons that she can cancel. She can, I'm talking, she goes through pre-K to high school to she in college now, and she can cancel.
Yeah.
You know, she can wait her whole life and just cancel. So she could really care less about DI. Some of her best buttons that she uses in neutral, she can easily react to DI.
Yep.
She has Air Condor, where she can either use as an offensive tool or use to get out of situations.
The amount of Lily players I be playing, I'd be like, and dance, and I know you want to jump, and then I get in, I do my thing, and then they jump, and then all right, well, there's my pressure.
Yeah, I'm out of here. You know,
it's okay. I'll just start over. No biggie.
She's a problem character, and nobody fully realizes it. Mainly because a lot of people are too focused on her flaws, which is she's not that effective without stocks. But it's not hard for her to get stocks. In fact, part of her offense is her getting stocks. Like, I feel like you will have a better chance getting stocks with her than to get stocks with any other stock character in the game outside of Jury. I think Jury is the exception.
Jury is like the outlier.
Yeah, like Jamie's taking a risk to drink, because drink has a lot of recovery. Manon has to fight you to get stocks.
Right, she gonna get it.
Like, if she don't fight you, she just don't get medals.
Right.
But she has to fight. Lily doesn't really have to fight you. It's all a matter of, are you gonna come over here and stop me from talking to the wind gods? And if you decide to stop me from talking to the wind gods, you get smacked. So it's really like it's really like you gotta hold that sometimes versus this character, and it can be really annoying. I genuinely think she's the most overrated out of everybody. Right next to Jamie. I mean, underrated. Sorry. Right next to Jamie and Sim, and the reason I put her over those two is because we already know Sim is really strong. It's just not a lot of people are playing Sim. Jamie, at least Jamie, people acknowledge that Jamie at higher drink levels is a really strong character.
Yep.
A lot of people don't see redeeming factors for Lily at all. So,
true.
Yeah, I think if I've gone as far as to taking this character to the lab and potentially making content on this character, because that's how much I believe in her and her capabilities. I think she has the potential to be a really strong character if played correctly. It's just,
that's fair.
Yeah, man.
Now,
Disney child.
I'm not even gonna do it. But all right, check it. All right. Let's get ready to round it out here. Get ready to close up shop. But before we close up shop, right? Most overrated character. Top 3 most overrated characters. Top 3 most overrated.
That's easy.
Top 3 most overrated. Top 3 most overrated.
You know what? Let me pull my sheet up.
Okay. Let's talk about it. Top 3 most overrated, baby. Let's go. Talk to me, brother.
I'm gonna start off with everybody's favorite Bushinryu ninja, Kimberly.
Okay. Fair.
I think she is the most overrated character in the entire game. Like, and
I can't wait for the next 2, y'all. Damn.
He
came out swinging. Okay, who else?
Yeah, I think she's extremely overrated. I want to say Guile is the second most overrated.
That's fine.
Because I personally think JP does what he does, but a lot better. I think the moment JP got put into the game, that kind of replaced the de facto zoner character for the game, and it's almost like, I won't say it makes it pointless to pick Guile, because Guile's simplicity alone makes him viable.
It's still Guile.
Yeah, it's Family Man. You know, Family Man is always gonna be viable, but it's like, if you really want an effective zoner and you aren't worried about simplicity, pick JP.
I'll just pick JP.
Like, just pick JP.
Number 3, who's the last one?
Oh, Honda. You know, Honda, hands down.
Yeah.
Big Edmund. Edmund is very much overrated right now. Is mainly because a lot of people are getting scrubbed out by it.
That's fair.
But I'm seeing people, even gold and plat players, I'm seeing them perfect parry this character, and they're learning. They are learning fast on how to deal with him, and the stock's just falling.
You know, it's funny you say that too. I want you guys at home to kind of check this out for a second. To be honest with you, Honda was probably like the first character people were like, of like the newer characters into the game, like on full release, was like, yo, Honda's OD. My man stock's been dropping in the last week and some change, and this is like just week 3, you guys, and like his stocks are done kind of dropping right now. Like Joe said, they're perfect pairing. Hell, they're doing the other tech, perfect parry, heavy button into DI to take away the drive gauge. That's actual tech, you guys. You should be using it. Like, it's crazy because Honda and Burnout, I'm gonna be real, hot take, spicy take, y'all. Honda's one of the weakest characters when he's in Burnout. I think so. I mean, all you got is headbutt.
You're not wrong.
Like, you could make an argument about certain things, but like most Hondas I've played so far, and trust me, you guys, if you guys watch me stream, like not even just a week ago, I went through like the Honda army. Okay, I fight Honda like no other. Like, as a Cammy player, like, I don't be liking fighting Honda, man, but I be fighting the Honda army's out here talking about do score after, and I'm like, here comes a new challenger, do score. I'm like, come on, bro. 5 Hondas in a row in ranked? Come on, Capcom, please.
Score, baby.
But I think as a sign, Capcom wants to be good at that matchup, so I respect it. But it's just, when Honda does get knocked down, and he ain't got no bar, EX headbutt is out the door. And then, oh, you ain't got no more invincibles? You actually got to use your level 1s? Okay, say less. The only downside is if you get popped by the level 1, yeah, it's like, you know, 2.5k damage and he knocks you full screen. The amount of mauling I did to you prior to that, I'm cool. Like, if I had the life lead and you had to do a random, like, and this is how I think, you guys, like, if I had to make you spend a level 1, that's because in a lot of cases, time the players tend to burn a level 1 as opposed to level 3. Level 3 is too important to them, right? I've gotten hit by level 1 more than I've got hit by any other right wake up super from Honda. So I'm like, if y'all just want to knock me full screen, I'm good with that. I have more HP than you. And you think I worry about playing the catch up game? I'm winning. You gotta make the move. You want a butt splash? Perfect parry. You want a headbutt? Perfect parry. You got it's this time to play footsies now. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna have to footsie me at some point. You know, and that's been my approach to the match. But I agree. I think Honda is pretty pretty overrated.
Yeah,
I would
for
agree.
sure.
I would agree. But man,
Now,
what you got?
Kimberly.
Yeah, talk to me. Talk to me about my Bushinryu sister. What's going on?
It's the same as the beta, and the amount of people that really thinks this character is like top 5 or whatever whatever number they feel like she is, and like she no, like she's good. Don't get me wrong, but and I'm gonna put this out here. The main reason why the main reason why people, is particularly US players, think she's really strong is mix. And it's the same case of the United States of America highly values or overly values mix to the degree that they don't look at the flaws the character has in neutral. And the flaws Kimberly have in neutral is she has to take a risk 9 times out of 10 whenever she approaches you. A lot of Kimberly's either do run, slide, or run into something, or hop off of you, jump, hop off you, do the, neutral jump or the jump over
gimmicks.
thing.
Yeah, the gimmicks.
It's a like, even like her what is it, her elbow, her chop, unsafe, slide, unsafe. Elbow air, the jumping elbow, if counter hit, leads into a forced knockdown situation, which leads into a juggle state, which 9 times out of 10, depending on the character, you might lose at least 30 to 50%.
True.
It's like the way people are playing her currently, she is nowhere near a top 5 character. I would honestly say the only person that could probably push this character to being really strong is Diaphone. And Diaphone he is, in terms of like approaching neutral with the character, he's playing the character as patient as he possibly can. And this character she loves to get in on you and run the mix and do all this other stuff. But yeah, some people aren't thinking about how she gets to the mix, and that is the issue. And her getting to the mix is really risk. You have to take a risk. And versus players that aren't willing to eat into the risk.
That's true.
Or play into the risk is like, nah.
I'm gonna throw one more player into the mix. I think they can do it. Shine.
Talk to me. Oh yeah, Shine. 1000%.
Shine is.
I've actually seen
work.
Shine play. Yeah, Shine plays neutral with this character effectively, and him and Diaphone 1000% will carry this character.
Oh, I forgot. My bad. There's actually one more player. I forgot. There's one more on top of my head. Me.
Oh.
But I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
How you going show me something and I couldn't have it? What? You gonna put it out there? You like, yo, this? Oh yeah, this could be done. No.
Right. To be fair, I know a lot of people on YouTube and everywhere else have been like, "You're a chip player. Where's the Kimberly at?" And they're like, "What's going on, Cammy?" Let's just say, I'm gonna throw this one out here just because he's talking about Kim. There are some things that I'm very much so concerned about with Kim. And like, I don't want to make this too long because this isn't really about Kim, but just since we're here, I'm gonna take a couple 2 or 3 minutes to talk about it real quick. Let's just put it like this. I learned early on in the very first beta what's gonna hold that character back in the long run. I can't say what it is. I know you guys, oh, come on man, you're gonna say all this and not say what it is. It's mostly because I want to see if it's true. Honestly, if it's not true and I'm wrong, and it's okay to be wrong, just so you guys know that, just because I'm a content creator and I thought YouTube doesn't mean I can't be wrong. But I'm hoping that I'm wrong, essentially. If I'm wrong about that, then Kimberly's in my foreseeable future. If I'm right, and I can say right now, as of now, I'm 65% right at the moment. That could change between CEO, which is this weekend, right? And Evo, which is not too long from now. Maybe until the end of the year. But we'll see. Right now, Cammy looking like the right choice right now. But that's on the ballgame. On the bottom. This is about Marissa. A little bit about, you know, these other characters here. But, you know, yeah, we good. But, you know, we can close this out here, y'all. We ain't gonna talk about Kim no more. But with that being said, my man Ghost, is any last words you got for any? In fact, let's try it this way. Any words you got for these up and coming Marissa players? Any advice you want to give them? Anything you want to tell them real quick before we get up out of here?
Put a leash on yourself. And what I mean by that is, do not play overly aggressive, because I was doing it week 1. It is very, very easy to just toss things out and it actually working out in your favor. Because, I mean, look at this woman. Like, how could you not? She gives off, it's my turn always energy. She does. She gives it off. That's her lifestyle. She's like, yo, it's me or it's nothing.
Okay.
So she gives off the vibe of wanting to just do what you want and it just go crazy. But I push you to not do that. As much as you would want to do it, tame yourself, learn to pull yourself back sometimes, and learn that, hey, maybe in this situation I do nothing, and see what the opponent does. I think if you play Marissa in a more reactionary sense rather than a super aggressive sense, she can be really, really obnoxious. And I think for the players that are more visual learners than verbal, or, you know, I think if you guys watch Big Bird and Shudo, I think you would be able to pick up those kind of play styles fairly like easily. Like, try to implement that into your play style. Just try to pull back. You know, don't go too crazy when playing the character. But outside of that, that's really it. I think that's the most important tip of anything.
Right on. With that being said, this is good. Great to have my boy here once again. This is my boy Ghost from Third Strike. Like I said before, I'm gonna have links to my man down in the comments, in the description. Man, I'm getting ahead of myself here. But yeah, I'm gonna have a link to my man down in the description. Check him out. He's been putting out a lot of great content. Once again, just recently YouTube partnered, so check him out. He's got a lot of good content out there. Holler at him. With that being said, it's your boy. I know who it is. You're here on my channel, right? I'm the host. You should know who I am. You clicked on the video, right? Anyway, let me know how you guys feel about Marissa in the comments. You know, talk to me. How you guys feeling about it? I'm glad you guys had a chance to hear it from the man himself. But I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all take care. Peace and love. Deuces, gooses.